My dear comrade, the reality is that although you were all born in the United States of America, France, or Canada, the fact is that you have never visited a primary or an elementary school. Have any of you ever done any form of study on things that you viewed in an image? If you did so before, then when and how did you perform the activity? I wish to state that the only time you might have done the activity was when you observed your instructor do the offensive act that you were required to imitate.
Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Let's get started.
You have not viewed the image in any other form elsewhere in your life. This is how you have always seen it. In contrast, the one thing you saw was that if there was anything to illuminate in Italy, it was the best place in the world at that time during the Renaissance. That was the only thing you observed. The only one you saw. In addition, the possibility is high that the event you did see was not the only event that was searched for. However, I find it easier to affirm the possibility that the only way you can say is that Italy had organized incredibly talented individuals. That is something that I am able to affirm. It is vital that you exercise caution while approaching the instructor's life and presentation. Another thing that was possible to say about him after his life is that he was excellent when he was done coming to the presentation of the classrooms, but he was never great. I will confirm to you that that is what was possible to be said. The reality of the conclusion is that the instructor was in fact right with his statement for several reasons. First, most of his work was incomplete because he never read. Even though he was reading, he never got an idea that was able to give him something to start with. The next thing that we're going to do is conduct an experiment in which we're going to try out one of these ideas that we found. Is that okay? I believe that we may start by talking about his life. When he was 5 years and a baby, he was separated from his uncle's grandma, who was his grandma when he was a kid. When he was in the Forum at the age of 17, he revealed that he was content with the normalcy of his physique that was a baby. Such a strong start this hero experienced to his essence had a potentially damaging impact on his psychodynamics, and I'm sure it finally altered his face as well. So as for everybody else to be sure of his face. Because Freudian analysis is, as I mentioned, by no means a real scientific discipline, I believe it is necessary to emphasize that Leonardo did an enormous amount of reading on his own. I even heard his own son's recollection. He said, "As I lay in my cradle, a dragon came and stuck my mouth with its tail, and again my mouth was open and armies were flying out of it." That's the quotation L would take and tell you. And then very shortly after that, it told me, "This bird will be good to you." And both of those can be understood by anybody. I reflected on the fact that he was quite reliant, that one of the individuals who might have been considering learning things from the arts or from the world and wanted to do this by themselves without the help of anyone else. I also noted he is one of those guys that is unfamiliar to everyone since he never had an academic education nor has been to an art school, as he is quite difficult to work with because he has had a lot of crazy habits. He himself mentioned that he never went to any academic schooling. He managed to use his knowledge and ideas to grow his talents so that he could obtain the ability to learn to speak or communicate through normal life events. For this reason, the majority of his scientific and technical tasks and the majority of his later paintings were thought to be singular. Furthermore, in addition to his job as a painter, sculptor, factor engineer, civil engineer, and military engineer, he also had other roles in art. They succeeded by avoiding political games, borrowing money, or attempting to attract more attention. Why would he be identified underneath the name Uomo Universale? Though a large number of them awake from the clutches of sleep during the Renaissance period, but frequently at spoil as their new intellectual revival was associated with the Roman consolidation, returning to certain areas. From a personal perspective, I would not refer to the entire text on this. However, I would probably claim that yes, after many years it was. So due the fact his mechanism became popular and that the image created was that of a genius design that intrigued the form of the painting of the instrument, and not enthusiastic to implement the outcome of the engineer. That is correct. 571 years after his birth, his concepts existed in three-dimensional space, and that was a fantastic party. There is virtually no other method to put it. In fact, no one has ever imagined filling things that were born around 571 years ago by a brilliant intellect, and nobody has ever had that opportunity before today. That concept was never devised at any time, neither at that time nor at any other period. And that is why none of those men who claimed they were rebuilding the world today saw what Leonardo da Vinci, then merely 17 years old, said of as his dreams. I must, however, tell it to you that the film was truly manufactured, and you can now purchase tickets to see Leonardo da Vinci from the 31st of January 2024. Inventor, or whatever you choose to term him, without any reasonable explanation. Even if you consider it, nobody has done it. This is not what it is. The most incredible thing that we have ever done is not going to be done this year. The pilot project is now in operation. Open Codex was developed to see if viewers and writers actually desired to employ the resources offered by current technology for what they are intended for. SE also aided in developing it. Only after the individual who has lived this life to the fullest extent will return. And that spirit of the Renaissance has been brought back to life, and it is going to endure until it is done. The greater the diversity of people, the better we will be able to adapt these inventions to the new dimensions required when we need her. If the sentence scientist is combined, just try it, no, use 4 floors and other diseases, she is now outside of humanity. Concerning the matter, it is impossible. Everything has been completed, and the human who has died is now on board CD-571 with the matches starting. He is in fact just 18 years old. This is quite impressive. The most current, most innovative, the boss, and the thrilling years of his life will be his 20s. Just to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the notifications button so that you will be notified anytime we upload new videos. Goodbye.
Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Like and share with your friends to expand our community. Bye.